Well, hey there. Welcome to the Aberrant Wood. Until recently, not many folk ventured their way into our neck of the wood, if you'll pardon the pun. You come at an interesting time. The woodland do be quite the marvelous place. But where there be marvel, there'll also be danger. Who knows what be lurking around the next bend? One day, you be living your life. The next, you running from an army of invaders. Or maybe you venture too deep into the wood in search of forgotten history or treasure, and come nose to knee with a bloodthirsty bear who all too happy to introduce you to the business end of his massive axe. But you ain't here to do the venturing, now are you? Me? I'm just a humble storyteller. As it just so happens, I've been wandering the woodland for a mighty long time. There's quite a history here, and I've just come across a few rabble-rousers who be piquing my interest. Oh, how rude of me. First, you gotta get to know the Aberrant Wood. Learn what the common folk been up against. These folk been living a hard life for longer than even I can remember. But ain't a one out there gonna say they're a better place they could be. As for living memory, the woodland were ruled by the Eerie dynasty, the bird folk that saw themselves above the other denizens, literally and figuratively. They weren't all bad. The Eerie connected the clearings and protected the common folk, but they was always scheming against each other. A coup here, open revolt there, one regime after another, until one day they drove themselves out of the Aberrant Wood, leaving the denizens to clean up the mess and pick up the pieces. Now, the Aberrant Wood is a mystical place. It don't take long for the wood to reclaim what is rightfully the woods. In the grand scheme of things, them clearings come and go. So the good folk gotta make a decision. Fight or flight. Some of them clearings buckled down and rebuilt, keeping to themselves, just making a living. Some moved on, letting nature take its course. Some folk kept the paths clear, others let them get swallowed up by the wood. Eventually, the fine folk of the Aberrant Wood found their synergy with the woodland again. So naturally, fate got to throw a branch in them spokes, as it were. Wood always had plenty to give. It was a wonder the outside world of the wood took so long to take notice. But here they are now, the armies of the Marquis de Cat. These Marquis out came quick and hard at the Aberrant Wood, took power and set themselves up in Oakenhold, spreading out from there. Some of the good denizens didn't take too kindly to a new regime coming along after the sweet taste of freedom from the old. But these Marquis out folk brought industry with them, promised to make life easier for the denizens. Only there was no telling if they was trading one thumb to be under for another. The funny thing about time is that eventually a sprout will grow. Even the rhizome of the hop plant, just a remnant of what it once was, can flourish again. Time is all the Eerie needed to grow and make their move back into Aberrant Wood and reestablish their rule. Imagine their surprise at confronting another army cutting paths and running things through the woodland. And of course, caught in the middle, the denizens just trying to live their lives. Now, the Eerie roosting in Wood Gap Refuge and the Marquis out with their claws in Oakenhold, well, some folk had had enough. You see, them plants never grow alone. There's always some weeds competing for resources too. Those denizens with a taste of freedom, well, that's what they wanted. And wasn't no cat nor bird gonna tell them otherwise. Thus, the Woodland Alliance began spreading throughout the Aberrant Wood. While they got sympathy amongst some of the denizens in some of the clearings, you ain't likely to know a member when you see one. Except maybe an ox trap. So, now I think you all caught up on our little history here, which brings me to them interesting folk I mentioned earlier. Remember when I said the Aberrant Wood is a marvelous and dangerous place? Well, some folk don't see themselves as common. Got no motivation to carry on the family farm. Got things in their past they running from. Or they just ain't got nowhere to be and nowhere to go. And the woodland Well, it hold a good many secrets. Secrets just waiting to be uncovered. First, you got that well-dressed, dirty Maine Coon, Rouveau, he calls himself. Glutton of a cat, gambling, drinking, and just running from his past. Then there be that stoat, Jilly, and boy does she have tail to spin for ear willing or unwilling. Finally, there be the badger, Crowley. She be the level-headed, principled companion of the group, and the sword that keep them safe. Now, some folk are just extraordinary, even if they don't think so. It just so happened, these three fine vagabonds of the woodland are just so. Now, I don't know what they're gonna do, who they're gonna turn out to be, but I do know they got more influence on the future of this here land than they could ever imagine. Good or bad, it looked like it's gonna be a history worth watching unfold. Oh, look, here two of them come now. Okay, so we'll open up the story with there are three vagabonds. One of them is unable to attend in this current situation. So the two of you,
Oh, wait,
Jilly.
wait, I have an idea. I actually
Okay.
have an idea.
All right.
Our companion, Chris's character, was recently bitten by a snake and is sleeping it off, as badgers do.
Gotcha. I like that. Okay. All right. So you guys are heading into Blackpaw Dam. You guys are currently low on supplies, and you have a connection in Blackpaw Dam to. They help you get supplies. They help you, they keep you informed on what's going on because you guys spend a lot of time in the woods, away from the rabble of everyday life. It's just not for you, right? So, so with that said, you guys are coming from one of the connecting clearings recently over the past few weeks. Which clearing would you guys say you were most recently at?
Let's see.
That would be either Ice Trap, Underleaf, Milltown, or Pinehorn.
What kind of neurological disorder is it when your vision rapidly deteriorates and you can't hold on to things anymore?
Drunk.
That's a good answer.
I vote Underleaf.
I think Underleaf seems good to me as well, actually.
All right. So we'll say I was thinking that you guys had maybe gotten a little hairy in Underleaf and you kind of got run out. It's a good safe clearing to be in because there's no open hostility there, right? You've seen the Marquisat, like some representatives coming through, trying to maybe negotiate a peaceful turnover of power. Considering Blackpaw Dam, that the current Duke of Blackpaw Dam, a Marquisat general, he has a tendency to come in and try to find a peaceful negotiation to war and taking over. So he hasn't been 100% successful, but he has been somewhat successful in the woodland, marching his armies into the clearings and with minimal force taking control. So you imagine that those representatives you've seen are from him in an attempt to gain control of Underleaf peacefully. So you guys got up to some shenanigans
in Underleaf, and
shenanigans.
your faces have become known, and they've decided to run you out of town. So Blackpaw Dam's like the next closest thing, and you know somebody there. Her name is Foxy Charm. Foxy owns the tavern there, Tavern and Inn, and she is a friend to the vagabond. If money talks, the goods walk, and she's very helpful and gives information. She has no allegiances to any one side or anything. She just wants to see the denizens and their lives kind of, prosper. So she's on the side of good, So
Oh, it's good.
she's got a bit of a shady
I
past,
hate them.
but she's definitely your go-to when it comes to getting goods, resupplying, and getting information. So yeah. So what kind of shenanigans did you guys get up to in Underleaf?
I was probably shooting dice with loaded dice.
and then spinning it as like a dice performance when they found out that it was like all a game.
Yeah,
an
that's
epic
when I'd be
performance.
like, "Ah, yes, behind your ear, look what I found," and then I'd be like, "Oh, what's that?" and point, and then run away.
Bruh.
Okay, yeah, you probably pissed off like the head.
Look
Like
at
the-
that 2 times 3 max. That works.
Okay, we'll say that the mayor got in on some of the gambling, because we'll say that maybe the mayor's got a little bit of the gambling streak, and because of that, he hired his goons to chase you guys out of town. So. Let me jot that down. That may be important later. So that drove you guys into the woods, to get away from the guards, and you knew they probably wouldn't chase you too far in, but you still had to go somewhere because you knew your supplies weren't going to last. You didn't quite get stocked up before you got ran out of town. So you managed to get in contact with Foxy, and she with the Marquis out in control. She told you the best time to come to like the town, like the line where the guards would be patrolling. And she's got an inside guy with the town guard, and he knows to anyone that Foxy says is good to let him on through. So Blackpaw, they've kind of got this deal going with the Marquisate that they can still, they can supplement with their own guard. They're all loyal, quote unquote loyal to the Marquisate. So you guys come in at the prescribed time. You see the guard, and he's like, "Oh, let me see your papers," and he does the rigmarole. And of course, you guys don't have anything, but he's like, gives you the wink and the nudge and sends you on your way. And
Oh,
you guys
He was flirting with you.
you guys come into town, and so this particular clearing, they've built a dam. That's why it's called Blackpaw Dam. That there's a family of beavers that have lived in Blackpaw Dam for generations. They were responsible for designing and building the dam, which caused the lake that is near the clearing, and that has provided them with a source of food and water. That water coming from the mountains near and around Ice Trap. and with the takeover from the Marquisat, you come into town. You can see that there's still the remnants of battle. Like they came in, they pretty much steamrolled quickly into the clearing. They caused a little bit of damage, but they managed to take control peacefully for the most part. And after the control, they have tried their best to help the denizens rebuild. But because of the tensions that have surrounded Ice Trap, there have always been Woodland Alliance and Erie spies that come in, and they've kind of slowed progress on getting things rebuilt. But they've managed to build up a new. Hold on a second. Sorry. Spiders.
Burn the fucking house down.
Spiders that don't look like spiders. Probably because it had just recently molted.
Mm.
Oh, soft-shelled spider?
Yeah, it looked really floppy.
Eat it. It's the best time to eat it.
Yeah.
Soft-shelled spider.
Okay, let's see. So
Soft-shell crabs are fucking nasty.
Oh, I just ate one the other night.
Gross. It's not a burger. It's not a fucking chicken patty, and people just slap it on fucking bun with some Old Bay and call it a fucking day, and that's gross.
Okay. Putting it on bread, I think is.
Yeah, it's just like a little fucking chicken patty, and they slap it on there with some fucking, like I said, just Old Bay on a bun. They fucking eat it. It's wild.
I like eating it as is.
And its little eyeballs are looking at you, and it's like, all right, bud, look, turn around.
You don't like the smally.
You can't eat it ass first. You know?
Pancreas. What?
I guess you could eat it ass first. Anyway, Brian, go ahead. Sorry.
all right, so yeah, the Marquisat have come in and they've tried to help the denizens rebuild. And while they haven't been quite successful with some sabotage and stuff from other factions, they have managed to build a new water mill that has really ramped up some milling productions for them. And so they're trying to bring industry to this clearing and to other clearings as well. Yeah, you guys have come into the clearing. Denizens are roaming around, doing their everyday thing.
And we've arrived.
And yeah, so you guys have a meeting basically to meet up with Foxy to see what's going on in the clearings and get some supplies. You guys have already paid her, so you don't have to worry about distributing any value at this point. But you guys do know you're pretty depleted on your values. So, what are some things about Blackpaw Dam that have stood out to you guys as you guys have been through the clearing? Like, just make some shit up.
Oh, okay. I guess while we're walking, I'm just talking my companion's ear off. And I'm just recounting the story, and it's going something like, and then he said his name was Bofides, and I was like, Bofides who?
Emotional damage.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Just yapping away.
I'm just like mumbling, grumbly. So I would say, our other companion got bit by a snake. I'm gonna say, for flavor, I just dragged dragged her off behind a tree and covered her with leaves, very haphazardly.
No, I like that. That's great.
Just dropped a couple leaves on her belly, and then was like, okay, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, and then anyways, he said no. Oh, and then watch out for that rock. Watch out for that rock. Watch out for that clunk. What? Oh, okay. Well. Anyways, he said his name was Bofidy's nuts, and I'm thinking, now hold on a second. This feller ain't no squirrel. In fact, he's a pine marten, and as far as I know, as far as I can, pine martens don't eat nuts. So I don't know. What do you think of that?
Acorns off the ground and shove them in my ears.
I guess I just lean over where Krista's character's being dragged along, and I talk to her like she's awake, being like, "Hey, it looks like our friend here's part squirrel too. It looks like."
Yeah. So what are some events or people or buildings that have stood out to you in Blackpaw?
They're giving so much freedom we're not accustomed to. Listen, friend. How do you feel about bug meat? Because I'm feeling my package right now, and you know, my daddy gave me the name Cricket, and you know, it wasn't because it was a family name or nothing, but you know, he used to sell lots of stinky cricket bug meat, and you know, the name kind of just stuck. But you know, you ought to give it a try. You know, it's good. It kind of sticks to your ribs, you know, and I poke him in the ribs. You want to get some bug meat, huh? 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 Huh?
What about
Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
Oh.
I take the acorns out of my ears. What? Huh?
That's actually perfect. I said, do you want to get some bug meat over there? I saw mighty fine looking popcorn cricket stand over there, and you know, they do smell quite off, but you know, once you get used to that crunch and squish,
right on the ground, just.
You can imagine that bugs in this setting are much larger than you would normally expect, like really big. So
yeah, meaty.
Yeah. So these kinds of creatures would be something that could easily be part of a farm for, like, you know, just like cattle would be. So could have grown up on a cricket farm, harvesting cricket meat for the clearings. So let's see, we got that.
I'll pass on the cricket. Not a fan.
So what is something that your character would remember about Blackpaw Dam? Something like an event or a person or a place that would have stood out to you in your visits to the clearing. You just make whatever you fucking want up.
Is this a question to both of us?
Yeah.
Because my thing was the cricket meat stand.
Okay. So there's a cricket meat stand. All right. Yeah. Okay.
How about this? This is just like Chinatown-esque alleyway that's just street food vendors.
Oh, that sounds good.
90% all the same thing, but everyone's just yelling at you to eat their cricket meat stick.
So cricket meat stand in the seedy the seedy food alley.
Yeah, there you go. Seedy
Okay.
food alley with the gutter grease.
Now, you think the legs would be where it's at, but really, it's the lower abdomen of the cricket that has the most meat. And if you know, you can get past the the squishiness of it, and the smell. It's pretty tasty.
I'm gonna look for literally anything else other than cricket meat. Preferably like a salmon stand or
Yeah,
Listen, there's all sorts of crickets. Okay, there's leghorns, there's campines, catalanas, whale summers,
Yeah.
crickets are just chickens.
Icksworths, Jersey Giants. Can't forget the Jersey Giants. Buckeyes, Chanticleer.
I've walked off at this point as you're counting
Orcas.
all the different kind of.
There's definitely
Orcas,
salmon
crickets.
stands too, because you're near a lake, and
Plymouth.
there's definitely fish that have accumulated in this lake. Some that even
Happy
swim up
Zeller.
the river. So
I find a nice little like candied salmon on a stick or something.
for sure, absolutely.
Salmon.
So is there like an event or a person or another place in the clearing that stands out to you as a character? Just make some
I'd
shit
say
up.
like
Make some shit up.
a pool hall, you know, maybe a couple blocks across from this, but not necessarily a pool hall, but you know, seedy little bar,
Billiards.
all smoking section.
Okay.
And it got some poker tables set up in the back that they probably shouldn't have.
That'd definitely be Foxy's place. You know, Foxy is a very entrepreneurial person. You can tell that she's definitely a person who's out to make some coin, just to make her own life a little more, you know, a little better. You get the feeling that she's the type of person who's like aiming for that magic number so that she can retire in bliss for the rest of her life. You know, she's in her middle years. She probably did some shady shit back when she was younger. Probably some not so savory stuff, you know, with the men's and maybe some of the ladies. You know what I'm saying?
Who hasn't?
Savory.
So yeah, Foxy definitely has a little space
Foxy.
in her tavern, kind of in the back rooms. That's good for gambling and doing all sorts of stuff. So, and yeah, that's definitely a place you're planning on heading, right? Because you got to talk to her. So
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys grab your treats. You got a little bit of cricket, some candied salmon, and you guys head on over to Foxy's Tavern. And so you guys walk into the room or into the tavern, and it's fairly busy. There's some music playing, and there's a good mix of people. People who are just taking a break from the day. It's probably midday. You see some Marquisat in there having a few drinks and just relaxing, and they're the tavern wenches and going around and keeping everybody happy. And as soon as you walk in, Foxy standing by the bar, she catches your eye and, "Oh, hey there, Shug! Come on in!" And she beckons you over to the bar.
I go over to the bar.
Yeah, as we're going, I'm saying Orloff, Fayumi, Easter Egger, Dairy Cow, Dead Santa.
I want to eye up who's the most richest looking person in this room.
So, looking around, there are just your average denizens and your standard run-of-the-mill soldier or guard. It's not really the type of place one of the more prestigious people would find themselves. Most of those guys would be hanging out with the Duke. The Duke you would know to be Electo Leon. He, you've seen him around. He is a very short orange cat, but he is broad and very muscular to make up for how short he is. And even for being a Marquisate general, he's very he's very peaceful as a person. He's like a good listener. He's like that type of guy you just cannot hate, you know. But
Can't hate.
yeah, if you're a good person and you meet this guy, you just have to like him. And if you're a skeezy dirtbag, well, you just gotta take advantage of him if you can. But like I said, he is a pretty muscular dude. He's always got a sword and fine clothes on him. But he's not the type of guy who would come into a place like this. He would more than likely be, you know, hanging out wherever the Marquisate have established their rule in this place. So, you know, there's a mayor of the town. He has a very modest cottage amongst the people. But yeah, you guys go up to the bar and there's Foxy. She's a very she's a middle-aged fox. She's pretty foxy. Yeah. She is a friend to all, you know, until you give her a reason not to be. But you guys have been good to her. She's been good to you. And as you approach, and she looks at you, Revo, and says, "Is she off talking about them crickets again, sweetie?"
Yeah, there's so many crickets.
Points worth. Yellow spot. Rubber duckies.
I just put a paw on your mouth.
I go. Oh, he got me with them poop scoopers.
Well,
Yeah.
You guys got here just in time. I have your supplies all ready. And you guys are all paid up. You guys want any drinks or anything?
Yeah.
I'd love
sure.
a cool, tall glass of milk,
Alright.
darling.
Baby, you got it. And what about you?
I elbow my friend.
Revo, sugar, what do you want? You need a beer? You want some ale? Something a little harder?
Jesus Christ. Alright, I'm back.
They're so fuzzy. You should get an aquarium, Brian.
Oh.
Alright.
Yeah.
So,
I should hire someone named Whitney. Yeah.
Slide my drink off the bar.
What did she give you?
I don't know. It's going on the floor.
I
think she hands me water because she knows what I'm gonna do with it. I just push the cup off the table.
It's
Now, shoot there, fella. That wasn't very graceful of you. That wasn't very.
It's okay. I expect this kind of
goodness of you.
behavior. I can expect this kind of behavior from the cats and the Marquisate. Okay, now what do you want to drink? You want some milk? Saucer milk there?
Yeah.
So,
I feel like under my breath, like very quietly. So, yeah.
so she gets you some milk and she sets it where you're more likely to drink it than knock it down.
Full face into the cup.
Yeah. And she looks at the two of you. She says, "Well, it looks like you are a partner down. Where is your friend?"
Yeah, well, you see, our faithful and stoic companion of ours got done bit by a snake. Little sidewinder done her dirty. Yeah, so she's sleeping it off.
Well, I do declare. Well, I hope they get better soon. Anyways.
Well, ostensibly that will be the case.
Well, what's the gossip out in the out in the Aberrant wood?
You know, darling, I don't quite recall. You know, it's strange. It's like I woke to a wakened fugue, sort of like I suddenly popped into existence, as it were.
I'm sure you can think of something. Maybe make some
Now,
shit up.
if I were now here, if I were in a storytelling mood, right, and I were looking to entertain and titillate an audience,
I do think
I'd
that's
probably
your
make up
style.
some grandiose story about I don't know, dragons. Do we have dragons around these parts? Is that a thing?
No.
Are they just misidentified lizards of some form or fashion? Okay, so how about this? There was some giant. We ran afoul of some giant misidentified reptilian contraption, beast of some sort. And then I don't know what happened next.
I'd come out of the milk. My face
Yeah. Okay.
completely
So
white. And I'm like, what?
Some sort of serpentine creature of the lower reaches came and sidewinded its way across our path. Now, our companion Crowley, you know, she's brave sort, but you know, a little foolhardy. Now she thinks she can take this snake all on her own. Okay, this dirty old sidewinder. And the fact of the matter is, she can. However, as they get wrapped up in a delightful dance of death, rolling in the dirt at the Devil's Crossroads, that little snake there sunk her gosh darn fangs in our friend's neck, and well, you know, it turns out it was just a big old misunderstanding, right? That snake was a lovely lass, actually. She was very apologetic, like for the whole thing. You know, we played cards, and then we went our separate ways.
Oh, that is quite the tale.
Hans, what do you think about that?
That is one for the books, I will say.
I rate it like a 6 out of 10.
Well, it sounds to me like you guys have been out of the loop for a little while. As you can see, things aren't quite as they seem around here. We have been trying our darndest to rebuild, and it's not going quite so well.
Well, you see, darling, I think what you need is some of those pulleys and/or levers. Okay, every contraption newsmer that I ever talk to, they talk a big game about pulleys and levers, and I give her a knowing wink, like I know what I'm talking about.
If only it were that simple with the politics and war. But I'll have to give it to the Duke Electo. He has definitely tried his damnedest to help us get things back the way they should be. There are some out there that don't quite agree with the industry that the Marquis have brought to our clearing.
Fucking.
And there is the matter of those Woodland Alliance fellas and those damned birds finding their way into the clearing and sabotaging any hope of rebuilding we have. But now there's talks amongst the beavers that the Marquis have their eye on the dam. And things have been pretty tense, as you may have known, coming into the clearing. I did have to pull some strings to make sure you guys made it in safely. But there have been some unsavory folk coming in and out of the clearing.
I just like side-eye Jilly, like.
Well, also you didn't hear it from me, but I hear there's for lack of a better term, fat cat coming into town with a load of his own wealth he likes to show off. And with
pardon me, ma'am, but are you referring to a rotund and corpulent feline individual, or are you referring to the idiomatic expression?
It's a little of both, I might have to say. There's a gentleman from the Marquisate of those noble-like folk. He calls himself... She pauses as she thinks about it.
Mr. Whiskers.
No, I've got a name. I just got to find it. He calls himself Anton Magnus Estimant III. A most pretentious name if I've ever heard one. Well, it has it.
Man,
He's
that name's a whole mess of vowels and consonants in an order that I cannot remember. What was his name again?
Just look over at Jilly. Is Mr. Whiskers.
Mr. Whiskers?
Mr.
God.
Whiskers, yeah.
Anton Magnus Estimant III. And
Write down a little
Anton
sticker.
Magnanimous
Mr.
Esteban
Whiskers.
Escargo the Third.
um,
Darling.
there's a possibility that maybe you have heard of this person. He's a pretty pompous douchebag of a cat. He likes to make his presence known everywhere he goes. And being that the Marquisate had been here for quite some time, slowly trying to make their way into the clearing, it's possible that you have come across this name. So, can't...
I think I like the idea of being ignorant in this situation.
Okay.
I think I recognize like the last name, but not him specifically.
Okay. Yeah, so...
myself and all, you know.
Yeah, the estimates are old money in Le Monde Cat. Those circles and shit. So
now I know Derp's character, and I say, now listen here, my noble companion of the family, Philaday.
That's offensive.
I saw that. Okay, you know what? Okay, you said nothing when she said fact. Okay, I know that for a fact to be a slur in there on these parts.
Huh?
Never mind. Anyways, I saw a flash of recognition spark across those peepers of yours when that there woman uttered that last name that I already do not remember. Escargot. Esteban.
Yeah, they're big time. You know, nepo babies they got that old money. You know, it's like their dad knew a guy, and then you know their dad's dad was whatever. They got a lot of money. We need to steal it.
That's a lot of dads.
Yeah. You never know with cats, man. You let them out in the backyard, and we're just come back with all kind of kittens. You know.
well, I can tell you that the Anton Magnus Estimant III is quite the pompous ass, furless fat cat, and he makes his wealth known to everybody. He's licks the boots of the Marquis de Cat, and he goes around the clearings trying to make a name for himself off the backs of others. And I imagine he's coming to the clearing to make an ass out of our sweet Duke Electo Leon, all on account of the previous predicament of Ice Trap. As you may know, Ice Trap was once held by the Marquisate, but as their hold on that clearing was quite precarious, the Irian Empire came in swooping their claws. But it wasn't long after that the Woodland Alliance rose with the people of the clearing and managed to take back what they felt was rightfully theirs. Since then, we have dealt with spies on both sides, coming into town, wrecking up all of our progress to try to make things better. It would be a shame if that fat bastard were to come in here and to sully the name of such a good man as the Duke Electo Leon.
What color is this here? Is this Anton?
He's
What color
tawny.
cat? What color cat is he?
Well, he's
the tawny
he's
color.
a furless, saggy-skinned fat bastard.
Yeah, but like, is he a tuxedo? Is he a
He's a
tabby?
sphinx?
Is he a calico?
He's just a hairless cat. Like, you know those hairless
Those
cats?
things?
Yeah.
Sphinx, right?
Yeah.
Checks.
And he's fat, saggy skinned. He's just a gross looking motherfucker. And that checks with your memory of the Estamants.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine he's coming into town any day now to make an ass out of our dear Duke. And I even hear there's a trade in it for him, which sounds like a lose-lose situation to me for the Duke. Oh, if you didn't know, the Duke is quite a peaceful man. He has been known to be kind to the prisoners of war. Those that do not wish to join the Marquisate are usually sent into the clearing, or sent out of the clearings to go on their merry way, with promises of never being, without being too much of a burden to the Marquisate as they make their way across the woodland. Some have, made their way back into the arms of the Marquisate, usually a different general, who is not quite as kind as our dear Duke. It's a mistake they're not usually going to make more than twice.
So here's what I'm thinking. All right, I just start clawing into the bar top with my claws. Start clawing out plans of the city, and I'm like, all right,
Hold
we gotta
on,
rob this motherfucker.
my bar top, don't do that. Let me get you a piece of paper, my friend, or a board. And she finds a piece of like thick bark for you to scrawl on, so you don't mess up her bar.
I just do the cat like biscuit making claw scratching on it. I'd lose track of my plans. I'm just scratching this bark. What? You guys say what? Where are we?
Give me a second. I'll be right back.
Hey, that's enough of that. That's enough of that. Stoats don't sneeze, all right?
What don't sneeze?
Stoats.
Stoats don't sneeze. That's right. That is
Don't
that
sneeze.
saying, that age-old expression.
Stoats don't sneeze. You heard it here first.
Stoats don't sneeze.
Okay, sorry about that.
Stoats don't
All right,
sneeze, bud.
So,
so cute. My cat is so fuzzy and cute. Oh, and she's crying at my feet. Ooh.
Okay.
Yep.
So while Revo is making kitty biscuits on the bark, Jilly, you are standing at the bar watching intently as he's trying to make these plans, but he's not actually doing anything. And you look up, and just a little ways down the bar, you see this red squirrel like walk up to the bar and order a drink from one of the other barmaids, and you You kind of watch him for a second, and he starts doing like the shifty eyes, like he's up to something, and he gets 2 drinks, and you watch him head to a table in like a dark side of the tavern. Obviously, it's not super dark because the windows are open. It's a nice day out, and he sits down with a possum that is wearing an eye patch. And he gives her a drink, the other drink, and they sit there, and they seem to be talking quietly amongst each other, and the squirrel looks really shifty, looking around. The possum looks rough as hell. Definitely don't look like denizens of the clearing, and Foxy catches you looking at him, and she says, I swear that squirrel gives me the creeps.
Creepy squirrel. Oh,
Yeah, them two have been here for a few days now, and well, they don't live in the clearing, and well, they're not the usuals that come in for supplies. So
I've scratched all the way through the bark at this point, and I come to and I'm like, what? Who? And I like look at them. I'm like, ah.
yeah, so you see the squirrel and the possum sitting there talking. They seem to be having somewhat of a slightly heated argument, but it's quiet. It's a quiet, heated argument. They're trying to keep their voices down.
Hey, I think that they're trying to figure out how many different types of crickets there are. You should go talk to them and set them straight.
well, in fact, there are over
Yeah,
257 known
tell them.
species
I know
of
that.
cricket.
I've heard that. I've heard it
Okay, fine.
so many times. Go tell
I
them.
saunter off over to the table
Okay.
to where those guys are sitting,
Are you?
and I just say,
Are you?
word round these parts is you fellas is in the need for some elucidation on the nature of cricket speciosity.
Let's see.
Oh.
All right. So you walk up and so as you approach, you hear what is obviously a disagreement between the two of them, and but you can't catch what they're saying, and they as you approach, they tense up on you, and you know you're like talking about crickets and whatnot, and why don't you give me a read tense situation roll?
I cannot roll in my current position.
How dare you?
Derp, would you be willing to do the honors?
Yeah, how many dice do you roll?
Roll 2d6
2d6.
and add your cunning. So her cunning.
Oh, nugga.
That's 6
Oh.
plus whatever your cunning is.
Oh, Basha. Basha, you're so cute.
What's your cunning?
Hold on, my cat was biting my hand. Where is that? There it is. Cunning is +1.
All right, so you got a 7. So that means you can take. Let's see. You can ask one question, and the question can be, let's see. So here's the questions that you can ask, but they're not gonna really all apply in this situation. But it's, what's my best way out, in, or through? Who or what is the biggest threat? Who or what is most vulnerable to me? What should I be on the lookout for? Or who is in control here? So you can ask one of those questions.
What were the first options?
What is my best way in, out, or through, or who or what is the biggest threat?
What's my best way through?
Let's see.
Bushy, you're so fucking cute. You're so cute.
Let's see. All right. So, as you roll up and start talking about cricket meat, the squirrel gives you like a quizzical look, and the possum looks really, really agitated. And you imagine that the best way through this situation, like so starting a conversation, might be to buy drinks.
Okay. I say, okay. I look at them both and I relax my posture, make sure I don't look too threatening, and I say, "Oh, well, pardon me there, fellas. I forgot to introduce myself. How rude of me. Name's Jilly Cricket. Not a cricket, as you can see. However, it is my surname. Why don't we break the ice by getting you folks a round of drinks? How's that sound? What's your poison?"
They gesture to what drinks they already have and say the drinks. You see the squirrel kind of perk up a little bit. Still quite a shifty feller, or a shifty red squirrel. And the possum, she doesn't seem to let her guard down much, but she's willing to let this continue into the future. So you gesture winch over to get you some drinks, and they bring you the drinks over, and the squirrel seems a little more willing to talk, and he says to you, oh, give me a second.
I sit down first and say, now the thing about crickets that you folks got to understand is that you can't keep them with standing water. A lot of folks think, oh, crickets, they need a drink. No, they get all the moisture they need from their food, okay? So they need a moisture-rich food, zucchini, any kind of gelatin-based.
At this point, I walk up and I
seed.
stuff my paw in Jilly's mouth again, and I'm like, I apologize for my friend. They've had way too much to drink. All right.
So the squirrel looks at you quizzically and he gives you a smile. He's like, "Yeah, it's interesting to meet you both. My name's Eckerd Brand, and this here's my friend. This is fuck my life. This is Eleanor."
Hello, fuck my life. That's nice.
What were the names again, Brian? Eleanor
and Eckerd. And he introduced himself as Eckerd Brand, so you know his last name, and he introduced Eleanor.
What? Paul's still in mouth. I'm Revo. It's nice to meet both of you. And then I kind of like slide into a chair.
Pleasure to meet you. Thanks for the drinks.
So what brings you two to town?
We're just passing through.
I take my paw out of your mouth now. Anywhere in particular?
No, we're just trying to avoid the scars of war.
Aren't we all?
Can't go nowhere without seeing it. Even here, these Marquis, they got their got their, well, you're a cat. You don't like the marquees up. How's that
I'm a
possible?
what?
You're a cat.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't
mean no offense.
never jived with me, entirely. They got some good stuff going, right? But like, why do we need all that stuff,
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
We could just be who we are, live out in the clearings, out like it was meant to be,
He leans in close and kind of looks around. He's like, denizens in control of their own destinies.
Yeah, throwing off the yoke of the
on the
master
shoulder.
and all that.
And he says that, and Eleanor's like, now that kind of talk can get you in trouble around these parts. Eckert, be careful what you say.
Only if you're a marquee.
You never know who anyone is working for around here.
Who are you working for?
I'm working for myself. She crosses her arms and clams up after that.
I push one of the drinks off the table. I'm like, I'm sorry, and I order another drink.
That's funny.
They bring you another drink. And Edgar's like, if you noticed any heated conversation, it was just between me and my friend. We have a disagreement on opinion about... It's about farming things.
Oh, like cricket farming.
God damn it.
It's
not about
Told you
cricket
that was
farming.
relevant.
You see Eleanor kind of roll her eye, and just like, it just kind of whatever. And she says, "We appreciate the drinks, but we need to get moving. Eckert, let us go. We have work to do." And Eckert says, "Okay, yes, I apologize. It seems we have things that we need to take care of. I do appreciate the drink. Thanks for the company." And he does the shifty eye look around, and him and Eleanor get up and they take their leave as you guys say your goodbyes.
I kind of
Well,
grab
folks,
his
pleasure to meet your acquaintance.
I kind of grab his paw and stop him for a second. I'm like, hey, if you want to make some coin, you know where to find me. And I let him go.
Okay. Roll a persuade NPC. So you're gonna roll with charm.
It's a 5 and a 4 plus 2.
That's an 11.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
He gives you a look and he's like, I might do that. I just might do that. And he gives you a smile and he leaves, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Dirk, what's your character's name? Sorry.
What's my
What's your
character's
character's
name?
name?
Ruvo.
Rubo?
Ruvo.
Ruvo, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say, now, Ruvo, how in Sam Hell is he supposed to know where to find you? He just met you. I didn't see you slip no calling card over his way.
I just kind of like put my head down. It's like, everyone just, where do we go when we want to find people? Who's the first person we talk to?
Probably a tavern of some form or fashion.
It's Foxy's. Foxy. Everyone go. If you want to find people, you go to Foxy. He's gonna go to Foxy. He's gonna come here. It was implied.
You guys gonna stay here? Can I clean this table? As a bar wench comes up to clean the table. as
I
the
just
two
push,
patrons
I push
after
another
the.
glass off, and then I leave.
All right, so yeah, you guys head back over to the bar to talk to Foxy some more, and she's like, "Well, they're just a strange couple of folk. What'd you learn? I haven't been able to get a word out of them edgewise."
Eckert and Eleanor, they're arguing about farming, not cricket farming.
Eckert Brand.
Yeah, sure.
Last names is important around these parts. They carry a lot of weight.
You say that, and my eyes, I just get like 1,000-yard stare.
Um,
The dog.
I'll let both of you think back on that conversation and let you do a figure someone out roll.
What is that?
So you'll roll with your charm.
6 and a 2. It's an 8 plus 2.
This is a 10. Okay.
Can you roll now, or are you still catified?
Yeah, can you roll for me? Please.
I rolled a 6 and a 5.
All right, so
Plus 3.
both of you get what is a hold 3. So you get to ask 3 questions about the interaction, and you can hold those questions if these. I will let you hold these questions or hold additional questions for the future should these characters come back, so that you could continue to figure these characters out. So during your interactions, you can ask 3 of one of the following questions. So, is the character telling the truth? What is the character really feeling? What does the character intend to do? What does the character wish they'd do? And how could you get the character to do something? So, with your persuade NPC, you definitely feel like you got his attention. You have the feeling you're probably going to see him again.
Yeah.
Okay. So are you saying we can just hold on to these questions for the next time we see that guy, or is this for Foxy?
This is for those 2 characters, and you can glean from the information that you have and the interaction you had. You could probably figure out if they were telling the truth about something. And you could probably tell exactly how they were feeling.
Okay.
You're not sure what they intend to do, but you could hold that question for later. Or what they wish you would do. So.
Oh, I see.
Or how they could, yeah. So.
I'm gonna say to Foxy, it seems those folks were of the emancipatorial persuasion.
You mean one of them like Woodland Alliance type folk?
Now, I don't know nothing about that. I was never much into politics myself. That was my brother, Jelly Cricket, something or other. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Now, you've never told me about your brother up to this point. You've got a brother?
Oh, no. Ostensibly. Moving on from that there subject.
No. I want to hear about your brother. You never mentioned him before.
My brother?
Yeah.
Which one?
Jolly Jilly Cricket.
Jolly Jilly Cricket. Okay, now he's not
Jelly
technically
Jilly
my
Cricket.
brother. Jelly Jilly Cricket is my half brother. Okay, my full-blooded brother, my older brother. That's Nibs Cricket. Okay. Nibs Scamp Snatch Cricket, actually. And then, of course, there's my little sister Pickle. Can't forget little Pickle. There's Penny. Yeah, there's the Cricket Clan for you.
Pickle,
Those usually have like 12 people in the family.
Penny,
Well, infant
Jelly.
mortality is still a problem these days.
and Nib.
Very true.
It was Nibs,
Nibs.
Jelly, Jilly,
Jelly.
Pickle,
And Penny. Alright. Got
The
it.
cricket clan.
The Cricket Clan.
I tell you, there's just something off about them two folk.
So, my question: what were they telling the truth about what they were doing? Like, or their names, were they lying about anything? I guess really.
So, you're pretty sure that their names they gave you were their real names. But the way Eckert kind of said they were arguing about farm stuff, you get the feeling that wasn't true.
Mm-hmm,
I mean, I'm sure they're arguing about insurrectionary strategies.
That would make sense.
All right, so that's one of your questions. You have two left that you can hold.
Yeah, I guess I'll hold it.
Okay.
I think we should hold there. Yeah.
I think that dude's gonna come back and see me.
Yeah, you definitely kind of get that feeling. Foxy gives you kind of the rundown of the woodland. Basically, what it runs down to is, since your last interaction, transition back to the map. She basically gives you a rundown of how things are looking in the clearings right now. So, the ice trap takeover is kind of recent for you guys. So that might have been something you hadn't heard about yet, with the Woodland Alliance coming to power there. Last you may have heard the Erie held it, or you may have heard that the Marquisat had it, and that it changed hands twice since you've last heard about it.
Sorry, which thing is specifically traded hands?
Ice trap.
Ice trap, the clearing to the north. Yeah. So Ice Trap is a place that a clearing that is very high up on, like, in a valley in the mountains. So they have, like, access to a lot of the ice that builds up on the mountain, and they tend to ship large blocks of ice down the river to the other clearings. It's kind of their trade, and it's a very harsh place to live. So that was one of the reasons it was so difficult for the Marquisat and the Erie Empire to maintain control of it. The Marquisat, they barely managed to get a foothold in there because Ice Trap was one of the clearings that refused to stand down when Electo Leon came in to take over. Electo is very he's slow to figure out when things are not going his way when it comes to a peaceful takeover, if those type of things are being hidden from him. He really wants a peaceful resolution to occur, and so in that particular case things didn't go his way and he had to fight his way into the clearing, and he basically thinned his numbers out quite a bit. And then that's what allowed the Erie to come in and try to take control. But again, with the power of the Woodland Alliance, the denizens, they weren't going to have any of it, and they managed to take control of the clearing from the Erie Empire. So, as far as the other clearings have gone, the Erie Empire has been very slow about regaining control, coming back into the clearings. They came in at Windgap Refuge, which was very easy for them. There's a cliffside where a lot of their old habitats were. They were able to easily come back in and take control of their old habitats and sweep back down and basically make the clearing bow the knee to them. In addition to many of these other clearings that where the Erie have control, they had a lot of support from the denizens themselves. They just were looking for somebody to rule them again. So obviously in Patchwood that's not necessarily the case. They had to fight their way in, and now there's currently a covert Woodland Alliance that operates there. And because of that has hindered their progress into Sundale.
Okay, yeah. I'm trying to find all these names on the map as you're.
Me too. Where's Sundale?
It's at the bottom right.
Yep.
Oh, I see it.
So you can kind of see how the progress went with the war. So the Marquisat came in first. They came into Pinehorn. They basically bum rushed that and Oakenhold, sorry, and they established their base in Oakenhold. That was like the most rich resource environment that they thought would be best for them. And from there, they pushed into Milltown, Blackpaw Dam, Fire Hollow, and Ice Trap. And then the Marquisat came back in at Windgap Refuge, and they quickly spread out to Patchwood, Olibero, and Ice Trap. And then the denizens that rose up into the Woodland Alliance were established cells in Patchwood, Underleaf, Milltown, and they managed to take control of Ice Trap. So
Hell yeah.
So your experience with denizens are there's a threefold kind of thing where some of the denizens are like cool with the Marquisat because they find the industry to be innovative and in their best interest, while some they miss the protection that the Erie Empire provided when they were in control of the clearing. And then there's the third, where the denizens had a taste of freedom for a little while after the Erie Empire basically civil warred themselves out of existence for a period of time. And because of this taste of freedom, they've decided that they don't want anyone ruling over them. The clearing should rule themselves.
Hell yeah. I like those guys.
Me too, and I have reputation with them, I guess.
So the one thing you note about basically all of the factions is it doesn't seem like any one faction is like the best faction. They all equally have some political agenda, right? So there's the Marquisat, where it seems like there are just some people that are out for gaining some amount of power over people, and that's how they get their fucking kicks, right? The Erie Empire is, while they are just, they've always been perceived as kind of awful, there was always that. Well, they did protect us when it mattered. Until they got caught up in the civil war of the houses of the Erie Empire, right? And then there's the Woodland Alliance, where they want the denizens to rule themselves, but what's above that is they're willing to do whatever it takes to not be under the thumb of some authority, even at the cost of the lives of other people, even the denizens. So they'll destroy an entire clearing, so you've heard, in order to achieve their goals. So it's not so they'll do stuff that's not necessarily best for the denizens, only what's best for their cause, So, with that said, you have all the information that you need, and you are free to move about the clearing, as they say.
So I'm thinking. I look at Foxy. I'm like, when did you say the rich dude was coming?
Well, I do believe he's going to be here within a week.
All right.
So, some amount of days.
We gotta get ready. We gotta rob this motherfucker blind. I'm talking like we're stealing this man's socks. Like, he ain't gonna have a damn thing.
Not a damn thing?
Not a damn. He won't even be able to afford a cricket on a stick.
What if his socks don't fit us?
Well,
Can we sell them? I don't.
you didn't hear it from me.
I don't know if I want to interface with the kind of freak who wants to buy used socks.
They buy them. You ship them on. You just ship them to them. They don't even care. All right. Look, they don't have to be your socks. You can just buy used socks and sell them to people. You don't have to interface with them. You just sell it to them. Look, I'll sell the socks. Don't worry about the socks.
So, yeah, you know this dude, based on what Foxy has said, the things that are most important to him are his wealth and his reputation. So if you can come up with something that will basically ruin both of those, you're sure to have a win as far as that particular thing goes. And Foxy's like, well, I can't be privy to conversations like this because even I have a reputation to uphold. So, I give you a couple more drinks and I bid you farewell as I go help other customers. And I hope you do enjoy your stay here at Foxy's Tavern. And
Thank you, darling.
She puts her finger under Ruvo's chin and kind of gives it that sexy slip up to the tip of the chin before she slides it off, and she gives you a wink and moves on.
Violently, it's a little stompy.
Boy, she is quite the lupine seductress.
Yeah. Ruvo's just watching her walk away.
Alright. So, the good thing about this is that you don't have to do actually any planning whatsoever, because this content does allow you to do some flashback. Particularly if you're doing counterfeiting or something like that, and your what you call it? Excuse me. Damn it. Your depletion. So that's material that you have on hand that doesn't necessarily fit into your equipment. like specific equipment. So, like you could suddenly have some materials that you can use that you mark off depletion, and then it becomes used.
Mhm.
All right, so you guys sit and talk about how you intend to deal with the incoming Anton Magnus something
Magnum.
something the third.
That's cargo.
Yeah, Edamon the third.
Bergamo.
I think that's what it was.
Edamame.
Edamame the third.
Mhm.
I
Edamame,
can't
Bergamo,
remember my own people's names. Anton Magnus Estamont the third.
Yep, that's right.
There you go.
Pompous fat cat, furless, saggy skinned bastard that he is. All right, and you spend a few hours in the tavern. People coming and going. You manage to keep your voices down and stay out of the way at the sight of any Marquis out soldiers, and it's an interesting mix of people that you see because over the time that the Marquis out have taken control in the clearing, they haven't just like pushed cats into the clearings. Their armies have grown with denizens. So there are rabbits, foxes, various other woodland critters who are part of the Marquisate army. So woodland denizens who have come around to their cause. So you guys finally finish your plans, and it's getting late in the afternoon. So sun's heading towards the horizon, and you guys are free to either. Well, there's not a lot of rooms with the armies and stuff, so it's easier to sleep outside, and it's much more something you're used to anyways as it is. So you guys head out of the tavern, and full bellies and filled with drink. And if Revo had any exhaustion, definitely would have been a good time to clear it all with his indulgence. And as you guys head out of the tavern, you guys are heading towards wherever you guys are planning on camping, wherever Crowley is is passed out under some leaves, and you hear, "Hey you, Revo."
I like it. Like up on my hair, I'm like,
Yeah. You look around and
I stick my finger in my ear and kind of twist it around.
wiggling.
Yeah.
you look around and you see that red squirrel, Eckert. He's kind of hiding behind a tree, kind of peeking out, and you make eye contact, and he's like waving you over, and he's doing a shifty look.
I go over to him.
Hey, well, it looks like your clandestine meeting awaits.
Yeah.
Hey there,
I go over
Yeah.
there.
Ruvo, right?
Yeah, that's me.
I've been kind of thinking about your offer, about making some money, right?
Yeah. What are you thinking?
I'm interested.
It's not gonna be easy. It's gonna be gonna be difficult. There's a lot of risk, but if it pays off, it's well worth the reward. How do you feel about the Marquisat?
Can't stand them.
Good. That'll make this easier. And then I loosely go through the idea of what we're doing. I don't give them all the details that me and Jilly discussed.
But you basically tell them that you're thinking about robbing a rich Marquisat, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're looking to give the old Sphinx a riddle he ain't soon to solve, if you catch my drift.
I just like a blink at you, and I'm like, anyway.
All right. So as a reminder, you guys do have your figure someone out questions, and this is a great time for you guys to use those.
One of the ones was what's this person going to do?
Yeah. So
Yeah, this guy gonna start shooting people.
So you begin to talk about like ripping off a Marquisat. First off, you talk about the Marquisat then in general, and you can tell that he is interested in doing whatever he can to make sure the Marquisat fell. You talk about ripping off a Marquisat noble, and you can tell that he is interested in acquiring some wealth from that Marquisat. So you still have one more question you can
Or the other ones?
So you've already asked. Let's see. So here's what you have left. Now, what is the character feeling?
Mm-hmm.
And what does the character wish you would do? And how could you get the character to do said thing? Give me just a second.
All right.
I'll be back in just a second.
Okay. We're gonna rob him. He's gonna get robbed. All right. So my plan, I guess, while we're waiting on Brian, my idea was to have this little squirrel dude be the fall guy.
Oh, that's me.
Fuck him, dude.
I don't think my character would be down with that.
I'm Ruvo the dog.
Okay, I don't think my character would be down with that, but that doesn't necessarily mean you need a letter in on that.
Yeah, I don't know if I was gonna let your character in on that. I was thinking like one of the things like at the end of the heist, he gets the heat, and I'm just like, yeah, you gotta have a fall guy, and you're like, what?
Oh my god.
All right, sorry, had to give my dog his Prozac.
Hey, Ryan, why can't we play as crabs?
Because
There's land crabs.
crabs are bugs.
No, they're not.
I said they're bugs.
God damn it.
Get fucked. God says they're bugs.
This stays in the video so people can see what I have to deal with. Bruh. Those crabs. I want to play as a scaby.
Zombie crabs.
Water bear.
Yeah, I want to be a tardigrade, Brian.
Okay. So, did you guys want to ask any more questions?
I've used my questions. You still have your 3.
Yeah, you do.
I do?
You do have 3. You haven't asked any.
Oh, I thought we were sharing them.
Nope.
No.
Yeah, those are individual roles.
Sweet. What does this person hope to gain? Or no. What are my options?
Alright, so you have, is this character telling the truth? What is this character really feeling? What does this character intend to do? What does this character wish you would do? And how could you get this character to do something? And that's a blank. So it's a fill in the blank. What? Yeah, how can I get this character to do blank?
Is this character reliable?
Hmm. Where would I classify this question?
Telling the truth, I guess.
Yeah. So
I mean, it's more like what is this? That is more along the lines. I think of what are the intentions of this character.
yeah.
Oh, where they
So-
put it in, you know.
Asking if they're reliable.
You feel like this character is you feel like Eckert is so he is kind of predisposed with something, right? He has this thing on his mind. You kind of feel like it might have something to do with the argument that him and Eleanor were having. You're not entirely sure what the argument was, but you get the feeling that he is.
I think I know what's.
There's a
What?
huge disagreement, and you kind of get the feeling he might go over her head, even though she seems to be the one in charge.
Is this character like? Is this a character who just had a disagreement with the closest comrades and is ready to make a radical next step that others around him aren't willing to take? Because that's what the feeling I'm getting.
You don't feel like he is going to do anything radical.
Okay, so that's two questions. Wow, that's Booktopia, Krista.
Or you got one question.
I can't think of anything pertinent to ask right now.
If you want, you can save it in case you run into Eleanor again.
Yeah, I think I'll save it.
All right, so, all right, so Eckert, he kind of eyes you guys, and he's kind of listening, and he's like, you know, I like where you guys' head are at. You know, kind of getting one over. I might be on board with helping you guys out, you know? Just as long as I get a cut.
We get fair shares, split it 3 ways. There'll be plenty.
Excuse me there, but what about our restful companion?
4 ways. Even
Okay.
split. Whoever's there day of. Whoever shows up day of, then we'll split it that way. You know.
All right, fair enough.
All right. The heist is sealed.
The deal is sealed.
All right. I'll do the best that I can. I gotta. Eleanor, she wouldn't quite understand. You know, you talk to her. She was kind of she kind of plays it safe, if you know what I mean.
Now listen, feller, I don't mean to rain on your parade and all, but have you ever stopped to consider that maybe Eleanor is just trying to keep your best interests in mind?
I'll let you roll figure someone out again.
Here, please.
Oh.
What is added to that?
Charm.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I
charm.
got 5. Whatever your
Plus
charm is.
3, 8.
8. Okay. So you can now ask another question. Is this character telling the truth? What is this character really feeling? What does this character intend to do? Or what does this character wish you would do? Or how could I convince this character to do blank?
I mean, I think I just want him to answer the question.
Well, he kind of did. And you kind of asked another question. So, he just said, I don't think Eleanor would understand.
Yeah, and then I was saying, well, listen there, fella, have you considered that Eleanor might be trying to have your best interests in mind? And seeing it from her perspective.
He kind of, does a little shifty look around and is like, maybe, but you don't know Eleanor like I do.
Now listen, fella, I don't mean to be that kind of.
You still have your question, but
that shifty look you're giving around. You gotta tone that back a bit, okay? It's very loud. What was that, Brian? Sorry.
So those questions are like kind of specific to that role, and it's an internal thought as to what information you get from that. So you asking me a question as an NPC is not going to give you the answer to the question that you're thinking of, right? So
right,
you can continue this line of dialogue if you'd wish, but you still have your question to ask internally, if you will.
I guess.
So basically, what I'm getting at is I would like you to glean some information from your interactions with him. Like, what kind of things are you noticing about his shifty behavior when you ask the question? Like, you obviously know this character is a shifty guy, and he's not telling you everything, right? And what person does, right?
Yeah, I mean, what is he not telling us?
So, like, do you want to know if he is telling the truth about something? Is there something specific you would like to know about a question you've already asked? Or do you want to know what they're really feeling? Like, you can glean that from the body.
I think I want to know what they're really feeling.
Okay. So, you ask the question, like, maybe she just has your best interest at heart, and you get the feeling like he's afraid of her. That she has an agenda that no one will stand in the way of.
Interesting.
That's the feeling you get from his behavior when he says, "You don't know her like I do."
Gotcha. So she's evil. What? So she's evil. Eleanor is evil, confirmed. Definitely gonna save that last question for Eleanor.
Okay.
Okay, I'm satisfied.
He's basically, he says, "You don't know her like I do." And then there's kind of a silence for a bit. He's like, "Let's just keep her out of the loop. I'll be there for you when you're ready to take on this Marquisate fat cat."
Okay. Now that's all fine and good. Now spare me a moment here, friend Derp. Derp, shit, what's your character's name again?
Rouveau.
Rouveau. Spare me a moment here, Rouveau. Pray tell, what might be the consequences of running afoul of your compatriot Eleanor? Because you're looking mighty skittish.
I think.
And look, if we're gonna be business partners, we gotta lay our cards out on the table.
He's fine. He knows what he's doing. It's okay. It'll be all right. We'll get the heist done. We'll get the money and we'll just get out of here. No big deal.
He kind of gives you a slitted-eyed look, like he's trying to read you. So why don't you try a persuade NPC? So roll roll a charm.
Slurp.
A 2 and a 3.
So 5,
5, so 8 again.
8. All right. Let's see.
I have to go here pretty soon.
Oh yeah, liberal.
He
Oh,
gives
okay,
Liberal.
he gives you a look. He says, "I'm not
for anyone
sure."
watching, by the way, we're not fascists. It's a joke. I swear to God, I forgot. This is being uploaded.
So Eckert looks at the two of you, and he looks like he wants to tell you, but he's not sure he can quite trust you yet. But he says, "I guarantee you that Eleanor will not bother us should we do this heist. And I'll tell you what, we come out on top on this heist, I'll be a little more forthcoming about the two of us and our comings and goings here in the Blackpaw Dam. Does that sound like a deal to you?"
Sounds good enough for me. It doesn't exactly fill me with confidence, but that'll do.
And he looks to you, Revo, and does that sound amenable to you, my friend?
I was licking myself. Oh, what? Yeah, no, that's fine.
We're spitting on it.
Hmm?
We're spitting on it.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
That you're wasting that saliva.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that.
All right, then.
We're good.
Let's say you come looking for me. You leave a note at that tavern we were just at. I'll speak with the nice lady if you've got a note for me,
Works for me.
and we'll meet up. We'll do this. Okay,
It's gonna be a good
and
one.
yeah, okay. That's where we'll call it for the night.
What an adventure!
What an adventure!
Real quick, last thing. When he leaves,
Okay.
I want to make a little
I'm gonna
paper
kill him.
outline imprint thing of his footprints.
Okay. Yeah. So you can roll. Let's see. That is going to be something interesting. So let's try. I think that would be an attempting a roguish feat. And I think sleight of hand would be good for that. So if you're trained in sleight of hand, you can do attempt a roguish feat with sleight of hand. If you're not, you can do trust fate.
I do have sleight of hand.
All right. So you will roll with your finesse.
Finesse is -1. Okay.
What kind of devious skullduggery are you getting us into?
I rolled a 5, so a 4.
Oof. You think you have a pretty good imprint of his footprint.
Hell yeah.
You do the best you can. And yeah. We'll go with that for now.
I do the best I can. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
I showed Jillian.
You're
look at what I
you're
did.
pretty
Look at my
sure
picture.
you're pretty sure you got a good footprint drawing or print.
Professional skullduggery, my friend.
All right, that's it. That was the last thing.
All
right, that's
Square.
epic.
So yeah, you guys head back to the place where you left the body of Crowley,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's where we call it. And we'll pick
I
up.
figured we took her to a room probably once we got to Foxy's. That seems logical.
Foxy's
That's
doesn't have,
hilariously
yeah,
well said.
Foxy doesn't really have any space for you guys because of all the marquees out soldiers. They've got to have places to stay, and
Oh, okay.
you know, between taking up residences and the inn, there's really nothing for travelers to hang out other than come in and have a beer and leave. So, but that's not unusual for you guys. You guys are really used to that. So, sleeping in the woods. So,
We should invest in a. I think boys. I think we should invest in a mobile domicile.
No,
No.
no. I've thought about it. I've considered it. No.
No. Hey, Krista.
All right. Oh yeah.
Scroll.
all right. So, next week, before Friday, please. I would like Crowley's stats and their backstory and their connections.
That would be Zaste.
All right.
All right.
Fantastic fun. Didn't even have to do any combat, and
Good.
you guys got fucking something going on. All right.
We're gonna get some jawbreakers. Okay.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
We're getting jawbreakers, Brian.